Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to another video game review. And today we're going to be looking at James Bond 007 for the Game Boy. Now, this looks like a very primitive game. Graphics are very primitive. The gameplay is very primitive as well. But this is actually a real hidden gem. It was released about a year or so after GoldenEye, and I think it's kind of an overlooked game. Now, it was a player's choice, I believe, but, many people don't seem to know about this game. And it is a very cool little Zelda-style Bond game. There's a lot of trading involved in it. There's combat. You do get some guns. You could talk to people. There's buildings that you could enter in. You could play card games. You could play Baccarat. You could play all different style card games in the casino. It feels very James Bondish, and they did a very good job at putting this on the Game Boy as a portable game. That's very curious why they never had any 16-bit James Bond games, but they did. This is what makes this game really unique. James Bond is one of the most popular franchises, one of my favorite film franchises of all time. But for some reason, James Bond was completely ignored during the 16-bit wars. The first time we saw a real Bond game was GoldenEye, and that's probably why that game got so much acclaim, because it was a huge surprise seeing it at the time. I never understood why. If anybody knows about why James Bond was ignored, if there was any reason to ever give that I might have overlooked, please put it in the comments. But this is a really enjoyable game. I think many people might, look at it and just say these graphics don't look that great. It just kind of looks a bit, odd to me. But, the environments look pretty decent for what it is. And, there's been better looking 8-bit games, that's for sure. But the Bond game is fun, and I really like it a lot because it's kind of like having a James Bond version of Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. And just knowing it's James Bond is, it's cool. And there's some humor written into the dialogue. I think the dialogue is pretty witty. You have Q in there, the inventor, and he says, some pretty lines that are pretty true to the film franchise. So there's a lot of winks and nods to the fans, and it's greatly appreciated. So, you've got boss battles in here. You've got a lot of the main James Bond villains. There's Oddjob, there's Jaws, who you get to have boss fights with. So, there's a lot of fun to be had. And there's a lot of little interesting surprises. And it's, not a very challenging game, but there are a few moments, where you'll be a bit stumped when it comes to a few of the mysteries and secrets that are hidden throughout the game and some of the trading, but that's a lot of the fun. That's why it's very Zelda-ish, and I greatly appreciate it. So I played this game 10 years ago or so, and I started playing it again for this review, and I was like, wow, this is actually a really good game that I think a lot of people would appreciate me recommending, and I definitely do recommend, especially if you like Zelda and if you're a fan of James Bond. This is a great game to check out. So, don't you turn your nose up at it because it looks a bit primitive, and for, old people who are, you playing your Fortnite and shit, you're like, oh, I'm not going to play this 8-bit stuff, but, hey, give it a chance, you may like it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Please subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get the notifications when I post new content. Check out all my other videos, and until next time, guys.